that could take them out. Wouldn't you love to see that stupid squad busted up? Yeah, it looks like AOC is fairly well ensconced for now, but lessen the numbers of her cultish little gang, and that'll be a positive thing. Yeah, so I'm not going to get into it now, but I will a little later. Yeah, the allegations that Congressman Yoho from Florida, from the Gainesville area, U.S. Congressman, that he is being accused of calling AOC an effing B-word. And then we have the story floating around that a reporter called White House Press Secretary Kayleigh McEnany a lying bitch. So we'll get into all of this later on. And by the time, guess what? By the time we get to it, we might have another one. By the way, Dr. Fauci did say a short time ago, I told you Fauci's been doing media interviews for the last half hour or so, and in just the last few minutes, Dr. Fauci said that he has not been invited to the return of the White House coronavirus briefing. So hold on to that thought. We'll get to that later on, and then also in the next hour, the briefing is set to return sometime in the 5 o'clock hour. Also, on the corona front, I want to share with you, there have been several stories of late. I shared some of the gist with you last week, early last week, mid last week, and there were a couple of stories, one out of Germany, one out of Oxford. I think there might have been a as well about antibodies. And there was a lot of alarm about shuffling around, and oh my God, the antibodies are wearing off. And that certainly is a nightmare scenario if here we have this novel coronavirus in SARS-CoV-2 or COVID-19, all the same name for the same virus. If the antibodies don't stick and your shield to prevent yourself from getting reinfected is gone, well, that's problematic. And we're talking about the natural antibodies that are created if you get the disease. And this is where some of the reports were somewhat alarming, that studies are showing that the antibodies are wearing off quickly and that you can get reinfected. Now, it appears that maybe some of that early reporting is a bit alarmist, because I have something interesting regarding B-cell, T-cell, and I've got a very interesting article from a source which typically would not want to paint a rosy picture, because the source inherently, from an ideological standpoint and what their editorial view is, would not be to assist the president in any way, and to make it seem like doom and gloom in order to try to doom the president's chance of re-election. So that's an interesting facet to the story, that this particular publication is saying, whoa, all that bad news about the antibodies wearing off, we might be up Schnitt's Creek. Well, there's another side of this that I want to share with you in just a bit. Before the top of the hour break, I made a mention about the president and his thoughts Major League Baseball. We have the impending return of the NBA, and of course the bubble over at ESPN and Disney. But there are still a lot of questions. Now, the president, I think, is very justified. I think Trump is totally justified to bring up the national anthem and the kneeling issue, and he did so via Twitter this morning. The president wrote on Twitter today, looking forward to live sports, but anytime I witness a player kneeling during the national anthem, a sign of great disrespect for our country and our flag, the game is over for me. That's what the president posted on Twitter earlier today. And I'm guessing that this was President Trump's response to the San Francisco Giants general manager, Gabe Kapler, not to be confused with Gabe Cotter. Welcome back. My wife's still scratching her head on why that's being used in the Applebee's commercial.
Turn right on Central Avenue.
Demographic. She thinks that the Applebee's consumers might be younger than those that remember the Welcome Back Cotter jingle. I don't have the demographics for Applebee's in front of me, but what happened was San Francisco Giants general manager Gabe Kapler, he took a knee along with some of the other ball players at one of these Major League Baseball exhibition games with the Oakland A's. And this happened yesterday.
1.1 miles.
And Kapler had told the players that he wanted to use his platform as a Major League Baseball general manager to draw attention to racial inequality. He said, I wanted to demonstrate my dissatisfaction with our clear systemic racism in our country, and I wanted them to know that they got to make their own decisions and that we would respect and support those decisions. I wanted them to feel safe in speaking up. But again, here we go again, and it's almost like we've got a new turbocharging of potential kneeling with the return of professional sports. Do we really need this fracture at this point? With COVID-19, the malaise that the country has felt, the shutting down of the economy, trying to get some of our normal lives back vis-a-vis sports, and now is the kneeling going to be turbocharged because of George Floyd happening in the middle of a global pandemic? I'm sorry, I don't want to see kneeling because I do believe it disrespects the flag and the national anthem of this country. I want racial equality. I don't want people in this country, I don't want blacks or Hispanics, Latinos, Asian Americans. If you're an American, you're an American. I don't want to see you treated any differently, obviously. And sure, these are just words, some will say, but those that know me know I mean it. I want racial equality, but it disturbs me greatly and it hurts when I see disrespect for the national anthem and the flag. And it's become sort of a mentality of just jumping on the bandwagon, really. If you want to weigh in on this, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about the Major League sports potentially coming back? Are we going to see an absolute epidemic of kneeling? 800-801-8999. That's the number here on Twitter.
Your destination will
Love
be
to
on
hear
your
your
left.
thoughts on this and the president and his tweet. 800-801-8999. That's 800-801-8999 gets you on the program. And of course, the president has been very vocal. He has had no problem calling out the